right, good evening, y'all. Hope some of y'all can join me live tonight. So excited for our second Bible journaling intro week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed last week. If you missed last week, you can definitely hit the replay. It's over in the videos section of this page, or if you want to share it with anybody, you can find it over there and just tag them, or share the link. So it's a public page, so it makes it really easy to share. I'm trying to get the comments up while you guys are jumping on real quick. We're going to work with acrylic paint tonight. We talked about that last week. A little shadow going. Some fun ways to use acrylic paint in our Bible journaling. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So what we've got, I've got some acrylic paint. So I posted it in the event. Hopefully you guys saw that. We got some acrylic paint, and I've got a few household items. So again, if you don't have all these, that's absolutely fine. But if you do, grab what you got. I have a toilet paper roll. I've got like a plastic gift card, some Q-tips, some cotton balls. And if there's something you think of that you like to use, anything that you want to put in paint is perfectly fine. Right, so, and I'm just using the apple barrel acrylic paint, like the cheap kind. Hey, Kellen. But you can use whatever you have. So seriously, this is what I'm using most when I play in my Bible journaling or my art journal, because it comes in tons of colors and it's super cheap. It's like 50 cents at Walmart. So what I'm gonna start with, just as a recap, last week we went over this, which is pretty much what I go by anytime I'm doing Bible journaling, which makes it a little different from just working in your sketchbook or art journaling, is the fact that we're tying that creative level with our time in the Word, right? So I won't go over it too long, but real quick, I start by praying, then reading the Word, reflecting on it, and then the journaling part that we're going to talk about tonight, that's the response. So that comes after the first three. But it's a way to meditate on God's Word. It's a way to creatively respond to His Word. And again, no artistic skill level is required. You can be super artsy, super skilled, or you might not be able to draw a stick figure, and it's all okay. The important thing is, hey Angie, anybody can do this. And I'm going to show you some examples of anybody can do this pages tonight. So let's get some paint out. I just grabbed a piece of parchment paper. I'm going to fold that in half so I have some more room. To use as a palette, you can use a paper plate. You can use really anything that you have handy. I found these at the grocery store that already come in little flat sheets. And it's kind of nice because it doesn't stick to it, and I can use this later in like collage or something so they don't go to waste. Hey, Lee. All right, so let's see. We're going to start out with just a couple kind of demo things, and then I want to flip through a few pages that I've done before just to give you guys some ideas on how to use it. So first things first, I've got some baby wipes. Okay, first of all, they're awesome for cleaning up afterward when you're done. If you don't have a sink handy, or if you just want to get like some of that paint off before you go touch in the sink. But they're also great for spreading paint in a thinner layer. It's great to get like a nice ombre look because it actually blends this acrylic paint really well. So let me grab a couple colors that would go well together. Let's see, so I'm gonna grab a royal blue, like this Caribbean turquoise color. I have this whole bin of paint that's all jumbled up beside me, y'all, in case you're wondering. And then I'm gonna grab a green. So those colors play nicely together. Hey, Cheryl. So I'm gonna start out with these. This is a great way to lay on a background. Real simple, real quick. And again, this works whether you're doing it in a journaling Bible, whether you're in a sketchbook, if you're art journaling or Bible journaling, same process on the creative side, so you can use it for both. All right, so I just need a little bit. Ooh, that's metallic, so that'll be fun. You just need a little bit of paint for this because this baby wipe spreads it a long way. So the one thing you want to make sure that they're not like too wet and juicy. So if they're a little drippy, you might want to squeeze some of the moisture out of them a little bit. But this one will work just the way it is. So I'm going to start with this like lime green. And you see how it makes it, the baby wipe makes it transparent. So if I'm putting on it with a brush, it's going to be more here. But by using the baby wipe, I get that nice, almost like, it almost turns it into a watercolor look. But it won't reactivate like watercolor does. Hey guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna spread this on. I'm really just making a background right now. Okay, but how simple is that? Okay, anybody can put a baby wipe on your finger and put some acrylic paint on it. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, I'd call this anybody can do Bible journaling. Maybe that'll be the new title for the next one. What do y'all think? Okay, so I'm just moving the baby wipe. You don't need to use a ton of wipes. You don't necessarily even need to move it, but it does get kind of goopy. And then I'm gonna grab some of that kind of turquoise blue paint and I'm gonna blend it up some because I want to get that nice kind of ombre feel with them blending together. Hey Susan, hey Beth, hey Shannon. All right, I'm glad you guys are able to join me tonight. So y'all have to let me know, is 8 o'clock an okay time for you guys? I know last week we did 7, but that seemed a little rushed for a lot of people for dinner time, especially if you're on Eastern time like I am. So if y'all would like to do another one next week, let me know. Is 8 good? We could probably do 7:30. That might be about the earliest. But I'm thinking 8 is a pretty good time. Hey, Jennifer. All right. So I moved on to my kind of royal blue. And like I said, this has a little shimmer to it, which is fun. But yeah, I mean, I'm literally just a little tiny bit of paint and wiping it down the page with the baby wipe. If you don't have baby wipes, first of all, they're awesome for pretty much everything because they're great getting stains out. I don't have a baby, but you know what? They're good for wiping up a lot of things. But you can certainly use like a damp paper towel instead. These are just super convenient. I'm just gonna come up here a little bit more with that royal to blend it some more. Look how pretty that looks. I'll grab just a little more turquoise. Okay. Okay, so Susan's good 7:30, Cheryl's good at 8. Okay, so yeah, y'all let me know if you want to do next week. We had talked about maybe doing something with watercolors next week, or I can do something else. So just kind of throw some comments in there. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to go out and buy anything. So tell me what you got. Tell me what you want to learn about. If you pay attention to the time, right? Me too. Okay, so look at that. How much fun is that? And it's already dry because it went on so super thin. Okay, you don't even have to wait for the dryer. By the time I got to the bottom, it's already dry. So how much fun is that? And one I want to show you that I did the background similar to this because you can do so much with acrylic paint. So I have so much like I want to cram into this, but I don't want to take all night. So I'm trying to give y'all like the quick version. So here's a page I did. Y'all see that? Similar process for the background, just using some different colors. So I used a baby wipe to spread them on. And then if y'all saw the live last week, and we talked about tracing, all I did was find some pictures online that I liked, the position they were in, and I used that tracing technique, traced the outline, and filled them in with black. Again, super simple. If you have stamps or stencils that are silhouettes, that would work too, and it's a super simple way to get a beautiful page. It's got a pretty powerful image. Something about those silhouettes against a color background for me really stand out. But again, it's just an easy way that anybody can lay that down. Hey, Sherry. All right, so again, that was just one peek. So if I wanted to, I could throw a silhouette on here. I could throw a flower on here. I could just handwrite a verse on here and do whatever verse I'm feeling led to do. What I'm going to do, no, Angie, I did not use graphite paper. So I don't know if you caught I think you were on the live last week, but you might have missed it. It was at the very beginning. And I actually still have the paper sitting here, so I'll show you real quick. What I did was, all you have to do is scribble. So here's the image I traced last week. Scribble on the back with a number 2 pencil. So like just with the side of it like that, on the part you want to trace, and flip it over and trace over the lines. And then you get the image. So it's basically homemade, cheap graphite paper without having to go buy graphite paper. And most people have a pencil handy at any point, so you don't have to cart graphite paper around with you if you're doing this somewhere else. So that is the method I use to trace pretty much all the time. I don't use graphite paper. Hey, Mary Lynn. Hey, Sherry. Okay, I didn't miss anybody, did I? Awesome. So what we're gonna do, because I want to cover a few, like I said, different ideas. I have so many ideas in my head. We're gonna see how many we can cram in here in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm gonna throw some white paint over here. Okay, and again, just a little bit goes a really long way with the kind of things that we're doing. Right, Angie? Well, there are things where it's worth it to spend money on quality things, but when it comes to things like graphite paper, that's not really where I want to invest my art funds. Anyway, so I've got a Q-tip. So if you guys have Q-tips, go ahead and grab them. I'm going to do a real simple flower, and then I'm going to show you guys a couple other examples on how to use Q-tips. Let me see, I'm looking for a yellow. You'd think I'd have had all this pulled out, but I didn't get my yellow. Well, that's all right. We'll just go with it for now. We're gonna start with the white. Okay, so what I wanna do, I'm gonna make a dandelion right here. Dandelion? Yeah, the ones that you blow. In my head, it makes perfect sense. Okay. So I'm just gonna make like a half circle shape, and actually, I tell you what, I'm gonna use another Q-tip to mix some paint over here. I don't have my yellow handy, so I'm gonna take some of this light green and some of my white and just mix it together and make a lighter green, and that will work for what I'm doing. Doesn't have to be yellow. Okay. And then I can use that Q-tip and we'll make the little center of our flower. So this is just like a little oval. Again, super simple shapes, y'all. And you can certainly use a paintbrush if you're more comfortable with that. For me, I think there's just something extra fun about using things that are not paintbrushes. It helps you loosen up a little bit. Kind of gets you out of your head. Okay, so I just made a rough kind of oval shape. That's going to be the center of my dandelion. Oh, good, Cheryl. No, I'm glad that you're working with me. That's going to be the center of my dandelion, and I'm gonna make almost a whole circle around it. I'm going to leave a little spot right here at the top blank so that we can make some of them look like it's been blown away. And y'all ever do that when you're kids? Like pick dandelions and make a wish and blow the fuzzy things off? So you can make your dandelion as full or not, as you like. And there are certainly other ways to make these flowers, but Q-tips are a fun way to do it. Okay. Yeah, there's something just less intimidating about using random objects, for sure. Something about having a pencil in your hand or a paintbrush in your hand immediately makes most people just tighten up. So we're gonna, my little pieces that are gonna be blown are gonna kind of just come off here, off into the air, whichever way you want them to go. All right. And then I'm gonna take my same little Q-tip, and I'll just use the green I already have, and give them a stem. Again, not rocket science, y'all. Okay. If you want to make it a little thicker, you can just come back and add a little extra paint. So again, this craft paint is a little thinner, but I find it works really well. That's funny, Angie. Isn't that funny how your perspective changes? I'm gonna add a little blue with this green just to change it up. Right? Yeah, now you think about the weeds that come out of the dandelion instead of the wish that you're making. And I don't know if dandelions have leaves like this. I know they have leaves, but I don't know if they look like this. But you know what? It's my dandelion, and so it's gonna look however I want. So yeah, I'm just making what I think a leaf shape would look like. Basic shapes. And I'm just giving it a little like rougher edge because that's how I think it should be. In my world, that's how they are. And again, same Q-tip. I'm just coming back and giving a little grassy area at the bottom so it's not like just floating through the sky. And you could certainly grab like a darker green if you want. We could add some blue in here with our green just to give it a little variation. Oh my goodness, Mary. They're covered in snow. Wow. Yeah, I'm in Florida. So that would be very strange if that happened here. It honestly is just hard for me to fathom. But it was cool today. It was actually beautiful here. It's been raining for like 3 days, and the sun finally came out, but it was still cool. It was beautiful. Okay, so I just made little strips of grass. Just flowers planted where you didn't like. That's right. Weed or flower is really all a matter of perspective. And as a kid, I remember thinking all the beautiful flowers everywhere, and then other people would call them weeds, and I didn't understand. So I'm like, no, that's a flower. And it really just meant that they didn't like them where they were. So again, going back to this, super simple and easy, Q-tips and a baby wipe. Okay. So, and again, you don't have a baby wipe, damp paper towel, or you can use a paintbrush and just blend it in if you'd rather. Totally your call, your thing. I don't know if y'all can see the shimmer that blue added, but it's really cool looking. Okay, so let me show you one other page that I did with Q-tips, and also that'll give that a minute to dry. I can dry it with the dryer if I need to. Not put it down in my paint. So here's another example of a way to do Q-tip flowers. So this is, I did with Q-tips with like a few of them together. Okay, so you can put them in groups like 3 or 5 or whatever. You'll see a lot of people that put the little tiny hair rubber bands around them. I don't have the patience for that, so I just hold them together. And usually what I do with these is either pick one color like the pink and then also add a little bit of white all in the same little bundle of Q-tips and pounce them around. Or like with the yellow, it looks like I had a little yellow, a little orange, colors that go together, and you just pounce them around. And it gives that really pretty vision of like a field of wildflowers. Okay, and on this one, I think just FYI, I did some green in the background first, probably with a baby wipe, so that I didn't have like a white page showing through, because that would have been more natural, you know, for the grass or the leaves or whatever to be showing through a little bit under the Q-tips. And then this top half, so we'll maybe do a quick little demo on this. The sky is done with cotton balls. Okay, I'm a big believer in letting what you use work for you and create texture instead of trying to work so hard for it. This texture, I'd have had a harder time getting that with a paintbrush. It would have been super frustrating, but cotton balls just naturally do that. So it's awesome. Let me show you, let's see, let me show you one more example. If I can find it. I'm going back and forth between two Bibles, y'all, because one has more of the examples in it and one is the one we're going to work in just a little bit. Okay, bear with me, I'm flipping. I forgot to mark one. You know what, we'll come back to it. Anyway, moving on. Let's just do a real quick demo on that sky thing. Thank you, Susan. Stephanie, you're cracking me up. Love you, girl. So I'm gonna take my cotton ball. I already have some shades of blue and a little bit of white. Alternative to cotton balls, you can get something similar by using a wadded up baby wipe or smushed up napkin or tissue. It won't be quite the same, but it'll be similar. You can make it work. I have faith in you. But yeah, anything with that similar type texture. So I'm just gonna dip that in a little bit of this turquoise and a little bit of white, okay? Oh, Shannon, I'm glad you're having fun. So I'm gonna use my little prayer hands page here and we're just gonna blot it on, okay? And again, you can definitely use paper towels for texture. They typically give a little more texture, but if you smush them around a little bit more, they'll get softer. So that is definitely an option. And you see I'm kind of like rolling the cotton ball a little bit, and that'll make it softer. So it just depends on the look you want. Okay, and I can come back with a little bit more white, like to add clouds or to lighten it up. Great way to add clouds. And with acrylic paints, one of the best things about them is, first of all, if you don't like what you did, you can put another layer of paint over it and completely cover it up. But other than that, they dry really quickly and you can just keep going. So like if you need to adjust things, you just come back over with a little bit more paint. Or like if this is too dark, I can come back with a little white and dab clouds in, or I could change it all together. So it's really flexible, it's really user-friendly, and it's super easy to work with. Okay, so Marilyn's saying crumple up a piece of typing paper. Yep, and that's gonna give you a super, I don't wanna say firmer texture, but it's gonna be like a crinkly texture. But that's the fun thing, is play with what you have and see what you like the best. Because there's so many fun textures. So I'll even, here, let's crumple up the baby wipe and see what happens. I need some more blue. So many choices. Anything that you can stick in paint, really, is gonna do something. Bubble wrap is super fun. Paper towels are super fun. For those of y'all that have been with me for a while, you know, I just did a YouTube thing on making a galaxy with acrylic paint and a paper towel. Okay, so there you go. Oh, that's kind of got a harsh edge in there because of the way it's folded, but I just keep smushing over it. Okay, so again, it does give it the texture and you could totally make that work The cotton ball is just a little softer. You don't have to work it out as much. But you could totally substitute this, especially if you kind of roll it and smooth it more and get rid of some of those harsh edges. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Well, you know, I'm just starting to really do kind of open online things. So, Mary, so we'll see. But I am planning on doing another one of these next Thursday. So next Thursday, probably at 8 o'clock. If you like and follow the page, it'll be on here for next week. So you can see I'm getting that fun cloudy texture like we were talking about. And that was with the smushed up baby wipe. So cotton ball, baby wipe, anything goes, y'all. Okay. The next fun thing I want to drag out, we've done cotton ball, baby wipe, Q-tips. Let's see what we got going on next. Next, I'm going to grab my plastic gift card. Okay, super fun. My little dandelion's almost dry. Let's see. Okay, he's almost dry. And then we'll maybe go back in there and do another one. In the meantime, I've got just an old gift card. You can use one that rewards cards, hotel keys, anything that's plastic like this. Or you can use cardboard or anything that's kind of stiff. Plastic palette knife, no matter what it's made out of. They have packs of plastic palette knives at the dollar store these days, by the way, which I think is pretty cool. I'm going to take the card and just dip it in a little bit of paint. Well, that didn't go anywhere. And then you can slide it around. Probably need a little bit more paint. Okay. You can make a design. You can do like a little abstract. And the fun thing here is it gets transparent, somewhat like that baby wipe technique. So it's really pretty and it dries super quick. The one thing you want to be careful of is what colors you're putting together. So even though they're not going to actually mix, if you start blending colors over each other that would normally make brown, you may get a little visual muck. So just keep that in mind. We can talk color theory later. But anything that mixes all three primary colors, if you put them together, you're getting brown or some shade of neutral muckiness. Okay, so that is the theory behind the color swiping. Again, super fun, quick way to make a background and add layers. I'm just gonna add one more color on here and I'm gonna show you guys some examples of, and see now these colors play well together. So they're next to each other on the color wheel. They're gonna play nicely together. I can overlap them and you see how that's transparent, but it's still pretty. Okay, so again, anybody can do this, y'all. I'm serious. I think I'm going to put that on the next live. Anybody can do it, Bible journal. Hey, Karen. Hey, Elizabeth. All right. Mary Lynn says you can use a fork. It's true. Like, no kidding, y'all. Anything that you can put in paint is fun. But that is a good reminder. Anything that you use in paint should not be used in the kitchen after it has been used in paint. So that is a reminder. If you get carried away and use utensils or anything like that, take that thing to the art room and leave it there so it doesn't get mixed in with your kitchen stuff. Okay, so that's just a little abstract card swipey action going there. I will say though, super fun if you want to play with texture tools and whatnot is go cruise the Dollar Tree in the kitchen section. All sorts of fun stuff you can stick in paint and you don't have to feel bad about it. Matter of fact, this mat that I'm using up under my painted surface is a clear plastic chopping mat. They come 2 for $1 at the dollar store. They start out clear, like more like this, and then once you paint it on them, they look like that. But they're great surface protectors, or you can stick them in between the pages of your Bible or your sketchbook. If you keep them whole, they're perfect sizes for like a 9 by 12 sketchbook. Okay, so we're gonna go back to a flip through real quick. I wanna show you guys some of these card swipey pages. And this is just to give you ideas. It's not necessarily that my pages are all that. Oh, this, y'all were asking, this is smushed on with a paper towel. So you see where I'm saying you get a little bit more marbly texture, but it's super fun. I'm gonna move my paint out from behind my Bible because that's making me nervous. Okay. So this is smushed on with a paper towel. I just marked a couple of these. Okay, this background is swiped on with a plastic card. So pink, yellow, orange paint, swiped with a plastic card. All the lettering is stickers, and we got a little washi tape. So serious, anybody can do it, right? Okay, everybody can work stickers. Anybody can stick a plastic card and paint like I just did. Now for my little people that are a little bit more scrapbooky, again, the same thing. This background is just swiped on paint. These are metallic paint, so you can get all fancy. And I've got some washi tape and little doilies, some little doodads that were given to me at a retreat. And so I just incorporated them, glued them on with a glue stick on top of that background. Okay, perfect. And these letters are just stamped on. So all sorts of ways. You can see how just randomly kind of swiping them in different directions, they all give you a different look. Oh, the camera moved. Actually, I think I moved. Doop, doop, doop. Let's see if we're back in frame. Thank you for telling me that, because I can't look in all the directions at the same time. Okay. Moving it down just a hair. You know what? When I moved my paint over there, I shifted the camera. Are we good now? It looks like we're good now. Yes, please tell me, y'all, if I get out of frame. I get carried away here. So you can see this was swiped on and kind of diagonally. Here's the other dandelion page I did. Okay, same idea, except I got 3 dandelions. Super easy. And actually, I do like these colors, in case y'all can't tell, so. Card swiped, just in stripes. This is washi tape and a stick figure. Okay, so we're gonna go back to that whole anybody can do this, for real. Because this is all, again, this is not about an art show. You will notice that your skill levels and your confidence improve the more you create. But as far as the Bible journaling aspect of it, it's an act of worship. It's tying your creativity into your worship process and helping that absorb in your spirit. It's an act of worship for God. So it's, like we said, it's like fridge art to God. It's not about what it looks like. It's about your heart behind it. Oh, good, Cheryl. See, you can do stick figures. Most people can do a stick figure. So there you go. If y'all need a stick figure page. Here's another one with the card swiping. So again, this is like a shade of dark gray and some silver. I don't know if y'all can tell. It's kind of shiny. Just swiped on, and then got some words in there. Okay, so super simple. Just flipping through to see. Did I miss any? Okay, here's another. I saw it. Again, paper towel, and I just use washi tape to mask the letters off. And super simple idea, just like we crumpled up the baby wipe. If you crumple up the paper towel, because it's dry, you'll get a little bit, like I said, more of that stiffer, marbly texture. This is the same way I've done the galaxies, by the way. There should be a link somewhere on the page, down a little farther. There's a link to the galaxy tutorial if you guys are interested in that. Or let me know and I can tag you on it or stick it somewhere. I've got another one in here. Sorry, I didn't mark it. There. Again, super simple. It's just gold paint swiped on. There's a couple little texture stamps and some stickers. Okay, so just have fun with it. That's what this is all about, is just having fun with it. And I want to do one page tonight. I know we did 2 pages last week, but I've been doing a couple little mini demos there too. So I want to do 1 page tonight in my interleaved Bible. So we did the little dandelion in the sketchbook. And tonight I'm going to do a page in Lamentations, and we're going to break out the toilet paper roll too. Okay, so I will put the link in the comments after this is over, and then I'll try and tag all you guys that are interested in it. It is also on my YouTube channel though, so I try and make everything super simple. My YouTube channel is Tiffany Johnson Creative, just like the name of this page. If you want to see some still pictures of my pages, Instagram is also Tiffany Johnson Creative. All the things named the same, trying to make it easy. Need to find Lamentations. Okay. You'd think I would have marked this, but that's why there's an index, right? 1018. Okay, for all my friends that have the same Bible, it's page, let's say, Lamentations is 1018. We're actually going to be in Lamentations 3 on page 1025 if you have an interleaved Bible. If you don't, that's perfectly okay. Like I said, remember, you can do this on anything. Sketchbook, composition book, random piece of paper, whatever you have handy. It's about doing it, not what you're doing it in. And again, if you're not into Bible journaling quite yet, and or you just want to play, just grab a real easy sketchbook or a cheap composition book, something like that, and just play and see what comes out as you're creating, because I promise it'll bless you. All right, so this, I'm gonna grab a piece of copy paper so I don't paint my pages together. And I do use copy paper usually instead of a Bible mat in my Bible, because I find it folds all the way into the crease better. I find this plastic Bible mats tend to creep out, and then I get like a big crease right here, or I get paint over the side. So, total side note. So I was looking at this verse earlier. See, Shannon, that's why it's good to have backup. Yeah, sometimes that's the other thing, is you go to your Bible and you've done that page already. But you know what? I think you guys can use any verse, any blank page to do what we're going to do, which is kind of the reason I'm showing this. It's a really versatile things that we can use to dive in wherever you're going with it. But real quick, I just want to read this part of Lamentations 3, verse 22-23. It says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." It says, "The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I will hope in him." We talked about rejoicing in hope. Last week was one of the pages that we did. I just love that verse. I think it's a beautiful reminder that, first of all, God's never on empty. He is full of all his goodness every day. And every morning, it's new, right? You get a fresh start. You get a fresh filling of his spirit. He's faithful. And he's faithful in the morning. He's faithful at the end of the day. He's faithful through no matter what you're walking through. He's faithful, and because we know that his mercy never ends, he's always faithful, and every morning it's new. He doesn't take a vacation. He's not taking a nap, right? So we can hope in him because he's always there. He's always good. He's always faithful. So we can rest our hope in him because he's the one that doesn't change, right? Anybody in this world at some point can disappoint you. but God won't, because he's always there and always looking out for you, because his love and his mercy never cease. So, with that being said, going back to our random objects, I know I said toilet paper roll, but I had a paper towel roll handy, so that's what we're using. And I'm going to cut it, so I'll have more than one. And here, I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. I'm going to cut one piece to use as is. Okay, so a little shorter than what a normal toilet paper roll would be, but whatever. Paper towel rolls work too. So we're going to use this as is, and then I'm going to cut a piece off of here, because I mentioned you can use, just like we use the plastic card, you can use cardboard to swipe things on. Most of us, unless you've been doing this for a little while and you hoard everything, which is what happens with all this art journaling stuff, is everything becomes texture. You might not have cardboard handy, but if you have a toilet paper tube, you can cut it and flatten it out. Oh, Shannon, I'm so glad it blessed you. This part's thinner for some reason, so that's why I'm cutting that off. It doesn't really matter how you do it. I'm going to make it a little smaller, because I'm going to use this to swipe, and then you can make it any size you want to. So we could actually make some smaller swipies. All right. So now I've got my little cardboard for swiping. Got my toilet paper roll, or paper towel roll. A circle is the point. So I'm going to start by laying some background color on, and then we're going to use this guy to make some shapes and make a little abstract design going on here. What do y'all think? Are we good? Should we? I'll let you guys decide. Are we feeling the blue-green vibe that we used on the dandelions, or should we use another colorway? Y'all chime in and let me know. I got all sorts of colors over here, so if you have preferences, let me know now. Oh, wait a second. Speaking of which, as I'm digging through my little paint pile over here, this is, in case you guys don't know, this is a palette knife. This is one of those plastic ones I was telling you I got at the Dollar Tree. It was in a pack of like 5 of them for $1, which is super good deal and super fun for just spreading things on. Okay, Kellen likes purple, pinks, and teals. Anybody else have any vibes on paint color? Okay, chime in. I'm going to get my parchment over here sorted. And what do you mean another color wave, Shannon? Explain. Okay, so anyway, we're going to make space for this. I got the iPad so I can talk to y'all, and the thing and all the stuff, and okay. Close your eyes and pick. I love it. All the colors. Okay, so y'all like got some rainbow vibes in you. Ah. Okay, all my paint pens just fell out. Awesome. Okay. How about we will just start picking some things. I'm not going to go completely random because I really don't want it to be muddy and gross, but we'll make it work. All right, so I got some more green, which is a lot like the one we started with before. Let's see, what else we got? We go with, okay, y'all feel, I'm like picking some super crazy colors here. Maybe we'll get these Dilutions paints. These are pretty. There's a purple. And a pink. Oh yeah, maybe we'll go with these colors. Lime green. Here's another purple in the apple barrel. My purple people. That sounded weird. There's a light aqua. So yeah, we got all sorts of stuff going on. Okay. So I'm thinking maybe we're gonna go mostly with these jarred paints. Yeah, craft-a-lanch. That is a true story right there. That is my new word. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm having a craft-a-lanch. Okay, so I have this big Rubbermaid bin beside me is what it is, and it's chunked full of these paints. Here's another purple. So yeah, I'm kind of thinking we might go with kind of these really bright colors, and then just add a few accents of whatever comes along. What y'all think? And Shannon says pink, yellow, and lime green. Those are pretty. I got the pink and the lime green. I don't know where all my yellows keep going. Oh, I found it. Yellow. It's been hiding. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm a hot mess. Yes, these are very pretty pigments, very pretty colors. I'm super frugal. I got these on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like $1 a jar, so that is why I have them. Also keep in mind, random side note, you can always use your fingers for painting, so don't forget about the 10 things attached to your hands. Aside from swiping it on with cards and random things like that. Okay. So these are the only thing about these is a little more awkward to get into sometimes. But there's usually so much on the lid. A lot of times you don't even have to put them out on anything. So we're gonna try this and see what happens. We're gonna swipe it on with our little piece of paper towel roll, which works really pretty well, I have to say. Kind of liking this even more than the card, I think. I think because I can like manipulate it better, I can hold it. I'm really kind of digging this. Okay, again, I'm not trying to make a solid coat of purple on this page. Just to be clear. Side note, if you're worried about getting the paint on the back of the page, I am not. You can do a light strip of washi tape around your border. And I'm not concerned about that because if I do the back page, I'll probably just come back with some other paint and cover it up. So no worries, but if that's gonna bother you, totally an option. Okay, so there's some purple. And let's see, I think I'm gonna throw some blue in there for the background. Oh, you're fine, Cheryl. I'm on Lamentations 3, verse 22 through 24, where he talks about his mercies never come to an end. He is faithful. Now, this is already like close to dry, so I'm not going to really worry about using another piece or it mixing. And again, you can put this on. This is giving me a little bit more flexibility. I really am kind of digging the cardboard, y'all. You can put it on thicker, or you can put it on thinner. So the more you press, the more transparent it's going to be. Again, the viscosity of the paint, which is just a fancy word for how thick it is also going to make a difference. So craft paint is going to naturally already be thinned out a little bit more. This is not like a high viscosity paint by any means, but it is definitely more saturated and a little thicker than my craft paint. So you just have to play with what you have and see how it works and make it work for you. Okay. So when you see things that talk about viscosity, that's all they're talking about is how thick that paint is. So when you see these fancy like Instagram things showing like the palette knife and like it's all built up like icing, that's a high viscosity paint. If you're doing like super duper paintings on canvas to go in like a gallery, or you know that you want to last forever, you want to use a better quality paint. When you're art journaling or Bible journaling, just use what you have and what you like. And like I said, and just play with it and see how you like how it comes out. Oh, good, Kellen. Hey, Michelle, I'm glad you're able to join me. Okay, so I'm gonna go down here because I'm kind of missing this whole in the crease area. Now again, I'm not too concerned with a little bit of paint coming over on the next page. If you are, just put another piece of paper there or a strip of washi tape. Okay, it'll work fine. Or go with the sketchbook. But for me, this is something I've given myself permission just to play in. So even though I do actually carry this to church and read it, so I try not, because of that, I try not to cover up my verses or anything. But I'm not worried about getting like paint splotches on things. This is what it's for. But that's one of the reasons I actually love this interleaved, because it gives me that whole page to play on. Okay, I'm just gonna scoot it along like the crease here because it drives me nuts when I have a big blank spot down there. Okay. Add a little purple because now I have a big blue stripe. And you can keep layering it. That's the other thing. You notice like the purple I put on first is much lighter, but then if I dab it on over the blue, it's getting more opaque, so it takes on a little darker tone. So it gives you some fun depth. Yeah, I'm liking this cardboard texture, I really am. I think I'm about done with the background part as much as I'm gonna be with this layer anyway. All right, so again, all we did was cut up a piece of paper, a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll, and smush paint on. Anybody can do it. You're gonna hear me say that a lot. And you know, for those of y'all that are used to doing this, you might not understand why I keep repeating that. But when I try and share Bible journaling with people, some people are get super excited about it right away, and those are usually the people that are already all in to like the art thing, the craft thing, the scrapbooking thing. But then there's a group of people, I think baby wipes can be used to wipe too, that their initial reaction is, I can't do that because I can't draw, or I'm not creative enough, I'm not an artist. So this is a big passion of mine. Anybody can do it. Okay, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing these videos, is to share some super easy ways to get y'all to jump in, or maybe if you've already been doing it, some super fun ideas to change things up for you to get to try some new things. So again, these jars are messy, so I'm gonna just rest the lids on them because I might want to open them again. And this is almost dry already because again, we're not putting it on super thick. I got a little goopy paint over the edge, so I'm going to loosen that up before it sticks to my copy paper that's behind it. I could have used another one of those pieces of parchment paper. That would have been good for behind here. But copy paper works fine. You just want to make sure if you're using a lot of acrylic paint that you move it around a little bit if you're going over the edges, just so it doesn't stick. Okay. With that being said, trying to focus. So I've got my, well, now I have two of them. I've got my cut up paper towel roll, toilet paper roll, whatever. So now I have this fun background. So I'm thinking we're gonna do some like little circles and lines and shapes and whatnot. So in addition, saw some of this turquoise paint over here. In addition to swiping, where we press down and swipe with the cardboard, keep in mind you can also just use the straight edge of it. Let me see if I have a clean one. Did I have more cardboard? I know I did. Ha, okay. So I'm just gonna use the straight edge of this dunk it in a little bit of this aqua paint because it's handy. And I can kind of make some, well, that went a little, yeah. Okay, so you can make some straight lines with it if you want some more delicate or geometric lines, a little different weight to it. You can also, where it's wet, you could actually use it to scratch into the paint a little bit, which will give it another look too. And again, it's not a big difference, but all your little touches and layers and whatnot make a big difference in the way it looks in the end. It just gives it a little bit more interest instead of just having solid paint on a page. At least that's my opinion. It's trying to roll back up. Okay, yeah, I'm about done with this. Okay, so again, it's just a little bit. I don't want a ton of that aqua on here. Really just wanted like a little bit to bring that lighter color in and give it a little different line weight going on. Okay, so I'm good with that. And again, it's about playing, y'all. You just kind of gotta see what you like. And that's where it's fun to have like a loose sketchbook or something like that. So if you're not really confident about it, have something that you can play with and see how things work out first before you jump into something that is important to you. Hey, Alicia. Yes, Angie, I remember the first time we met, and yeah, you just jumped all in once we got some confidence going. All right. Can you guys see that? So far, I think it's looking pretty cool. I got a couple little wet spots in here, but that's all right. So I think I'm gonna jump in with just a little bit of this pink and green in that same Dilutions family. And I'm gonna use my little palette knife to get some of this out because, again, love the paint, but the jar is sometimes not so friendly. Or maybe I can use the lid. Ha, perfect. Okay, y'all wanna take bets on whether I spill this paint before this is over? It's very possible. Hey, Pam. Okay, so I got pink, oh, my green. So since I only need a little bit, I'm gonna actually use these lids so I don't have to scoop any out. Hey, Alicia. Glad y'all are joining me. So what I'm literally just gonna take the end of my little roll here. Actually, I'm gonna take this one because it's a little smoother. I'll take the end of my thing and just tap it lightly or wiggle it around in that little bit of pink paint. Okay. And then decide where I want to go with it. Okay. And you can just put it down like that. You get a smaller ring. I can put it down and kind of wiggle it a little bit, and I'm going to get a little wider ring. And it's fun too when you're using shapes and things like that. Go off the page sometimes. Composition wise, it's a little more friendly than just making something super geometric. It leads the eye around the page. There's something about that too, doing odd numbers and making things flow. And sometimes that's a natural thing for a lot of us, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes you gotta think about it a little bit. Another thing, let's see if we can do this. You can kind of squish that paper towel roll a little bit, fold it, and make it more like an oval or an egg shape or a leaf shape. Yes, ma'am, I'm painting in my Bible. This is an interleaved Bible. and it has a blank page after every page of text. So this page that you see me painting on started out just like this, where it was completely blank, if you missed the beginning. But I also do journaling in my sketchbook, as art journaling and things like that. So you can feel free to do these wherever you want. This just happens to be in my Interleaf Bible. Okay, so I'm gonna get that little green paint on there. And let's see what happens. Ooh, that's fun. It's almost like a leaf. Yep. Now, because this is not completely flat too, I have to be a little bit more careful to make sure I'm pushing this down onto the whole page. Let's see, here. That's why I'm wiggling a little bit. There we go. Okay. And I don't mind if it gets a little wonky. It's kind of part of the whole deal here. And again, I'm going to go off the page just to make it more interesting. I'm not doing anything particular with us. We're just making fun shapes. Alicia, I'm in North Florida, Jacksonville, St. Augustine area. So, all right, so we have that. I'm feeling like I need a little something over here. We might need some more pink. Okay, so Shannon, I got your pink and green. I didn't do any yellow yet, but we got a little pink and green going for you. I'm gonna do just part of a circle. I just feel like it needs something to balance it. What do y'all think? Is that better? And again, there's no rhyme or reason necessarily to this. We're just having fun. So you can do your circles or your ovals or your lines, however you want to do it. Just play with it. I think I'm going to add a little bit of white to this, maybe just for some contrast. Okay, so I'm going to put the lids back on these jars. I'm very proud of myself. I did not spill them yet. I like to keep it that way. Okay, put that over there. And I'm gonna, back to my parchment paper that's on the bottom, I'm gonna throw a little bit more white down here. Okay. Yes, those are blank pages. I was just telling, I think it was Alicia, about that. This is called an interleaved Bible. If you're looking for one of those, it has a blank page after every page of text, so you can either do notes, art, whatever you like. I tend to do more artwork on the blank page, and then I write notes all in the margins, wherever I can fit them. And then I have a study Bible and things like that too that I put other notes in. But I do actually carry this one to church. So this, like I said, I like to keep everything legible, but I put my notes usually in this side and do pictures and more visual journaling on the other side. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of white, but I don't wanna like overwhelm it because I'm probably gonna use a white paint pen or something for some little details in this. I don't know. What do y'all think? White paint, it's called an interleaved Bible, Nicole. And I'll try to put a link, I can put a link to the one that I have in here. It's the one with the black imitation leather cover. They have it in hardback, which a lot of times you can get a little bit cheaper, but I find the softer cover to be more manageable because they're a little bigger. You know what? I'm thinking I don't want to put white paint on there. I do want white in it, but I think I'm going to break out my paint pen for that, and I don't want there to be too much white. I'm kind of digging the background the way it is. What do y'all think? Okay, so I'm going to grab my Posca paint pen, which is my most favorite paint pen because it has an extra fine point on it. You can get whatever point you want, but the extra fine are great for writing. And since they all fell out into my bin when we started, you'll bear with me for just a second. Found it. Okay, so I actually have a lot of colors of these. This is what it looks like. I'm in lots of colors, but the black and white I use the most. Again, it's just acrylic paint, not oil-based. It's a water-based acrylic. But I love the tips on them. That's a much finer tip than most paint pens have. Most of them have that big round bullet nib. So they're great for details and for writing. Yeah, if any of y'all have the link to that Bible and you want to throw it up, please feel free. Y'all know I love you. So some of this is dry, and I'm going to, my toilet paper rings are a little thick, so we're going to blast this real quick with some heat so I can finish this up for you guys. So tell me, who all is painting along and playing with their random household objects? Oh good, Cheryl, I'm so glad you're enjoying it and doing it along with me. So let me know if y'all are playing along. If you're not playing along, let me know if this is something that you're looking forward to trying at a later point. Because I know sometimes I like to do it alongside somebody with a live, and sometimes I just like to watch, take it all in, and then go do it on my own at a later time. So totally get that either way. So just trying to get this to, it's going to be a little, well, I don't want to completely bake the page. Oh good, Alicia, I'm glad you're going to try it later. So y'all let me know how they come out. Feel free to post it on my page, or you can post it in the comments of the video. This video, I'll pin to the top once it's done. I'll pin it to the top of the page. But you can also find any of these videos in the videos link on this page. And again, it's a public page, so it's super easy if you have anybody that you want to share it with. Don't have to join anything or do anything special. You can share the link and they can see everything and all that fun stuff. Oh good, Shannon, I'm glad you liked your dandelion. Yep, nothing wrong with taking it all in first, that's for sure. Okay, so these are not completely dry, but they're a lot closer than they were. So, and actually some of them are dry and they're still a little shiny, which is kind of cool because they were thicker. So I'm just going to be kind of careful because, like I said, I don't want to completely bake my page there, although it wouldn't really matter. And just to show you guys, the only paint on the other side of the page is where it literally smushed over the top earlier. So acrylic paints are not an issue as far as like bleeding or anything like that. Totally safe. And then if I decide to do this page with anything, you won't be able to see what's behind it. So just a side note. Okay, so I'm going to take my white paint pen, and I could really use any paint pen, any colors. Let's see. I like the white. I was thinking maybe I can find a yellow, but of course, for some reason, yellows hide from me. So anyway, you can doodle, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards at the moment. Just for a little added interest. And again, this is just supposed to be fun. It should not be stressful in any way. It's just about having fun and creating, putting this together with the word we're reading. And again, the more time I spend on this page, the more that sinks in. And then I have to think about it because I'm going to put some words to this. But honestly, even just the colors and everything else that I choose make me think about what I read more. And even when I'm art journaling, whether I put any words on the page or not, a lot of times it's still consciously or subconsciously a result of something else. My green delusions page turning gold. Not really, but in a couple spots where it's not as thick is what you're seeing is the purple coming through behind it. So it's given a little bit of a different thing where it's thicker and where it's not. So it's that lime green, but on these edges here, like it was thinner, and so you get that purple showing through, which I think is kind of fun. Actually, I like the dimension that it gives. Let's see. I've got a pink paint pen. Let's see what that looks like. I'm going to turn these into like some little flowers, I think. Well, that is not real thick. We might have to do a second layer. This also isn't nearly as bright of a pink, but it's, I don't think I've used this pink one before. So we might go with white, we'll see. I can always go back over it. Okay, so that's just making a spiral. Yeah, this was not actually my original intention to make flowers, but when the oval thing looked like leaves, kind of where it went in my head. So again, you can make yours totally abstract. You can just make simple shapes, circles and lines and whatnot. Or you can just see what it turns into, right? Let's see, I'm gonna put some more dots in my leaves. I don't really like that. Chalk pens, fun. I haven't tried those. Let's see. They'll smear if they get wet. Okay. But great color and don't block up. Awesome. Yeah, and these actually don't block up. Like I said, the pink one I think is a little light, but I also haven't used it before. Okay, I'm not liking all those dots. So we're going to make lines. And then I'll leave the dots in the middle. So again, these are just fun doodles. There's nothing fancy about it, and you can choose to doodle or not doodle. You can just leave it with the regular paint. You can use whatever pens you have on it. I said paint pens work great. Just make sure you get the acrylic or water-based pens and not oil. Sometimes the ones in the craft store, they sell both, so it's easy to get mixed up. And I'm simply doing this to make it match the other one that I fixed. Okay, let me go over this pink one more time. So what are y'all thinking? Is this doable? See, so much darker now because I can go over it a second layer. Doable, do you like it? You can start hoarding toilet paper rolls now. See, that's the only thing is the more you get into all this stuff, you're like, ooh, I can use that bubble wrap. Don't throw that away. Wait, I can use that packaging. Hey, that's texture. I need that for my art. But on the other hand, when you're at home and the art stores aren't open, it's a beautiful thing. Because you have all these fun household items already at your disposal to play with. Right? Okay, so that's much better with the second layer on that. Okay, so I think as far as that part, I think I'm gonna put some lettering on here. And it probably will be done. Again, I'm just blasting this with my little heat dryer real quick. I don't want to go smearing any of my paint pen, even though it dries pretty quick. I am famous for finding the one spot that's not dry and sticking my hand through it. So I know this looks like a hairdryer, but it's actually a heat tool. But you could use a hairdryer. Okay, yeah, where those thicker lines are, those are still wet. So, just have to be patient and careful, but we'll put a little heat on it. All right. So, let's give this a minute because I do want to put something on there while we're here, but I don't want to smear this paint. So, let me see. Got going here. All right, let me grab. Yeah, right, Cheryl. Yeah, if you don't have paint on your hands, you probably didn't do something right if you're doing it this way. But you see, I like how, just total side note, how these aren't like real crisp lines. It's got some texture and some depth to it. There was some variation in the way the lines are, and we got the real straight back and forth geometric in the background, and some dots and some swirls. So it just makes it a lot of fun. All right. So I think what I want to write on here is new every morning, because that goes back to our verse, right? Good night, Shannon. I know it's past your bedtime. And we are going to wrap this up soon, so I don't want to keep you guys on here forever, but I hope you're enjoying it. So I'm going to write new every morning in bigger letters, and then I think what I may come back and do is just write in small words around here what is new every morning, when it talks about love and mercy and grace and faithfulness and things like that, and hope. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Now I may have to, let's see, it's still tacky. It's driving me nuts. I could do it either with a black ink pen, like a big brush marker, or a paint pen. So now I'm trying to decide. Let's see what I got. Let's see if my big brush marker is handy. That might decide for me. Yeah, even though I plan a lot of this stuff out, sometimes things come to me and then it's not what I want, isn't always nearby. Ah, close enough. I got a little brush marker. That'll work. Okay, so I got my Faber-Castell brush marker. I do have a big version of this. They're those big fat brush markers, which are lots of fun. So I think I'm going to do my lettering in this, and then I'll highlight it in white to make it stand out. Just instead of doing like big bold white letters on here. So you can pencil in where your lettering is going to go if you like. Again, I've told y'all I'm not really that patient, so I'm also leaning on the camera, sorry. I'm just gonna kind of figure it out in the air where it's gonna go, and hopefully it all works out. So new every morning. Okay. We'll see how that works out. Okay. Trying to make sure I don't get into any wet paint with this. Fancy cursive R. Okay, so move that down a little bit so we don't run into our Y. And this is just basic cursive essentially, but I'm lifting up after every letter because when they do the fancy hand lettering, that's what they do. And I'm going to come back and thicken up some of these downstrokes and whatnot. But I've noticed that whole picking up your pen between the strokes instead of trying to write it like cursive where it's all connected makes a big difference. All right. Oh, don't be scared by lettering. It takes practice, but you know what? It doesn't matter what kind of lettering you do. You can just do regular block lettering on here. There's all sorts of different fonts and texts that can be used. And I do like to change mine up. I just figured with all the swirls that more of a cursive type thing worked better for that. So I'm just thickening up the downstrokes a little bit and making these a little bolder. And I may have to come in and touch some of this up. That's okay. Especially like where I have wet paint right there. So some of these I'll wait till it's drier and we'll touch up the letters a little bit. But so the idea with the whole hand lettering thing, and this is also where it helps by picking your pen up, is to make any strokes that you're going down on the letters a little wider. So down is a little wider, and then up is narrower. So that like up would be a regular stroke, and then down would be a wider stroke, and that gives it kind of that faux calligraphy, fancy, whatever you want to call it, look. All right, so I'm gonna do that real quick here. And again, I'm going to come back and throw some highlights in white on these so you can see it better. And most of the hand lettering videos that you see too are sped up quite a bit. So don't think they're doing that fast like it looks on the video. Just as a side note. Okay. Almost there, y'all. I said I know this is probably running a little long, but I had so much I wanted to share with you guys. I hope I got lots of stuff in that you can use while we were doing that. That is a Faber-Castell brush pen. So this is the regular size brush pen. They also have all sorts of different shape nibs, and then they have a big brush pen, which I also love. It's big and fat. I just didn't, honestly, I didn't have it handy. It's the same idea, it's just bigger, and it's India ink, so it's waterproof, which is awesome, and archival and all that other happy stuff. It also doesn't bleed through these pages, even when there's no paint on them. Oh my goodness. I put my paint pen down in the white paint. Okay. See, I knew something was going to happen, but that could have been a lot worse. Okay, so I'm not going to completely outline these. I'm going to try and just give them just a little highlights. So I'm just trying to highlight like with the right side, so that way it's all kind of in the same area, in case you're wondering. Oh, the comments went on. Oh good, I'm glad you guys are enjoying it so far. Let's see, and I'm not an expert by any means in this whole highlight in the letters thing. I try and do it. See, now I did it that way on that one, so I'm gonna do it this way on this one. No, I don't care for that. I'm gonna have to go back and fix that. I don't like that extra highlight. But you know what the nice thing is? You just take your black pen when the paint pen's dry and go right back over it. Problem solved. All right, we're getting there, y'all. Sounds like our cat is playing with something in the background if y'all hear anything clinking. Not sure what he's doing. He's doing something. Alright. And for me, the biggest thing is just making, like, if I do one letter one way, doing them the same. I'll say that's all well and good, except for that E up there that I'm not happy with. Cheryl, you're so sweet. Okay, I will try not to feel rushed. Okay, again, I'm gonna blast it with a heat gun, even though it's just a paint pen. And then I can take a look at it too and see, like I already see one spot I want to highlight on this V. Okay, so by doing it just to one side, for me, I like the way it looks because it lets it pop without outlining the whole thing. But sometimes I will outline the whole thing, so it just depends on the mood I'm in and how I think it looks. Okay. Let's see how easy that was. If it doesn't work for you, you just go back over it with the black. All right. I think that's better. What do y'all think? Actually wondering if it should be down here. That's what it needed. Should have been on the other side. Okay. New every morning. What do y'all think? The slower the better. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna stick with my white. Again, you can use any color you want. I'm just gonna go through on some of these and write some of the things that are new every morning with the Lord. So His love, His mercy, His grace, His patience. Aren't y'all thankful that He's so full of patience every day? He's got lots of patience with us. How do you keep your page from curling up? With the acrylic, it doesn't really curl up that much, but honestly, it will, even if it does, once it's closed shut, it'll flatten right back out. So let me see. And I can go back to the verse too, and some verses around it to look and see if there's anything, like if I go a little bit farther down, it says He will have compassion according to the abundance of His steadfast love. So I think I'll add compassion in here somewhere. Where do I want to add compassion? I'll wrap it around here. I'm going to try and keep it in the frame, but I'm trying to wrap it around this leaf, y'all. Compassion. So I've got patience, love, mercy, grace, compassion. And you know what, Cheryl, it might also be the difference in the paint. There might be a little less water in this since it's not craft paint. I'm not sure. But yeah, just hold it down. It'll be fine. And it will flatten out. So I mean, because I have had that happen before, and they'll flatten out as soon as it's done. And you close it up. All right, so I think I'm good, y'all. Again, I apologize if we went too long for anybody, but I hope y'all got lots of goodness out of all this. Please share with me anything that you try, whether it's along the lines of this page or just fun with your acrylic paint and using fun things to make texture and shapes and whatnot in. I can't wait to see what you guys do. Again, please feel free to share on my page, or if you share somewhere else, tag me on it. If you think anybody else would enjoy watching this, please feel free to share it with them as well. All right, so I'm gonna hang for just a minute and see if you guys have any other questions. Anything else? I am planning to do this next Thursday, and we'll do it at 8 o'clock. I'll set up another Facebook event on the page. I'm thinking watercolors. Is that good for you guys? And again, we're gonna do no art skill required watercolors. Okay, so we're gonna do some fun stuff with watercolors. You don't need to use expensive ones, and if you don't have watercolors, there are definitely other options, or if you have anything that's water soluble crayons, gelatos, neocolors, anything like that will work too. All right. Oh, good, Kimberlyn, I'm glad. All right, so next week, watercolors, maybe some pens just to, write or doodle with the watercolors. And again, whatever you feel that you want to practice on, whether it's paper, sketchbook, journaling Bible, cheap notebook, whatever works for you, because we're just going to play and have some fun. All right, guys, and if you have any questions afterward, you can comment on the video, or you can just post on my page or message me, and I'll be happy to get back to you. All right, you guys have a great night. Bye. Oh, good, Larissa. Yeah, I said bye and it's not going off. So you know why? Because I needed to see your comment. I'm so glad that's speaking to you. All right, you guys. Oh, it's telling me I have a low battery. That's why it's not going off. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. As I said, keep me posted. Go play with some paint. I'll see you soon. Bye.